right, folks. Hey there, Mr. Lloyd here, going to work with you on page 3. This is what it looks like. Today is March 26th, Thursday, and we're just going to go over this worksheet. This is just one of those reviews, so it should look and feel pretty similar by now. We've been handling these for quite a little while, and if you're doing these every day, you kind of know the drill. A lot of these look the same, just with different values. So once I can get my paper oriented correctly, I'll walk you through problem 1. So problem 1, express the ratio in 3 different ways, part to whole. For every point I score, Dana scores 5. I personally didn't love how this problem was worded, but that is a total of 6, and so we're going to say 1 to 6, or 1 to 6, or 1 to 6 with the colon there. Okay, looking there at the table here with our integers. It gives us an integer of -8. The opposite, or the number that's equal distant from 0, is +8, and the absolute value is the distance from 0. Both -8 and +8 have an absolute value of 8. The integer given to us is 6. The opposite is the number on the other side of 0. It's like its mirror image. It's -6, and the absolute value here is 6. -3 is our integer given to us. The opposite is 3. I just wrote positives because I started writing negative, but you don't need that in yours. It's 3, and then the absolute value, the total distance from 0, is 3. An expression to represent 22 less than 6, so it's x minus 22. A common mistake 6th graders would make is write 22 minus 6, but that would be x less than 22. So make sure your translation makes sense. If you're not sure, just plug in a value for x. So say x was 100, 22 less than 100 is 78. If I wrote it the other way, 22 minus x, 22 minus 100 would be -78. So that would give us a totally different answer, and it would give us totally different value, and our sentence wouldn't make sense. So make sure it all lines up. English and math need to be able to be translated back and forth. Number 4, just some simple decimal addition and subtraction. As you can see here, the most important thing, as my fingers are clumsily going over the paper there, the most important thing is place value. As you notice on both of these problems, my decimal lines up perfectly right over the decimal on the term above and below it, so that everything is lined up. Your 1s are in the same place, your 10s are in the same place, and so on. Number 5 and 6. Whoa. What do you guys think? Will I ever figure this out? Probably not. So here, division, I'm looking at these problems right here. You can just check your work. 174 and 3/5 or 174.6. And then the answer for the multiplication problem there, 23,465. Okay, looking down here, 7 hours to mow 14 lawns. So you probably noticed it's 2 lawns per hour. We normally represent the rate as something per time, like miles per hour. So I left it as 2 lawns per hour. The unit rate was 1 hour, gives you 1/2 of a lawn mowed. Okay, and then the image here, we're just talking about the shaded portion. 80 of those little squares out of 100 total squares, so the fraction is 80 over 100. The decimal is 0.80, and the ratio is 80 to 100, and the way we write that as a percent is 80%. Pretty straightforward there. Number 3, 15 is what percent of 60? So we set it up. You use the little guidance that it gives you. The part is 15, the whole is 60. The percent is the unknown, and I underlined that just so you'd remember. 1500, I just cross multiply here, sorry. 1500 equals 60x, and as you can see, I solve for x, and I get a value of 25%. Okay, last couple here. Number 4, fraction addition. My first step is to convert both of these mixed numbers to improper fractions. So you can see, I'm going to zoom in, I can see that's not very close. So I convert them to numbers. Then my next step, common denominator 10, so multiply by 5, multiply by 2 to get tenths, and then I just add my tops. My bottom stays the same, and it's 7 3/10. And then the last problem, 5, you can see I just fill in the values for the table, graph the coordinates, I get a nice straight line. Okay, that is all the time we have for today's video. This is part 3 for March 26th. I'll be posting tomorrow's video tomorrow. See you then.